Hey, what's going on everyone? Big here for SerpentX Tech, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to flash your ASIC, your Bitmain ASIC, whether it's the S19J, J Pro, K Pro, XP, how to flash it back to stock. We first got to identify what kind of control board we are using. This control board is an AM Logic control board, but you can see here some of the lettering on it. So the A113D V1, that's important to identify the correct firmware you need off of the website. We got a micro USB connection, our IP report and reset, as well as our LED indicators, which we're going to need to understand in order to ensure that we flash. Now that micro USB is going to need a special type of USB because the type A is not going to work. A micro SD card is not going to work, but I got a USB stick that has micro USB on one side and type A on the other. Perfect for what we need. Still rocking the stock AM Logic control board, but the Epic control board we already installed. You'll see that in a future video. This is just to show you how to flash it back to stock. So before you even power on your system, let's go ahead and switch over to the computer and get the appropriate firmware for this device. So first things first, you can Google search Bitmain. Just be careful out there because there's a lot of fake websites that pretend to be Bitmain or Bitmain official or What's Miner official. So just be careful. But we can see here when we Google search it, bitmain.com, that's the official website. And then we got a link down here for firmware download. When we get to this website, we got to scroll on down and select the algorithm that this Bitmain device or ASIC mines. There's obviously Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, or Script, K heavy hash for Caspa, X11. So we're just going to stay on Bitcoin, SHA-256, and then there's a drop down for each miner, the T21, S21, the new miners coming out from Bitmain, and then the S19k Pro. Just search for whatever your particular device is. It could be the XP, S19 Pro, whatever it might be. Just select the one that's right for you. And then on the left hand side, we got two tabs. We got firmware and TF card service pack. TF card service pack is going to be what I just showed you, the micro USB connection on the control board, or the SD card. The firmware is the actual stock firmware here, and you can see it's dated for 11/18/2023. We already looked at that one compared to out of the box in a different video, but we want to click on TF card service pack, and then this is where we need to identify the control board that we're rocking. So we know we have an AM Logic S19k Pro. This is the one we're going to want for our SD card, but they also have it for other boards as well. So not just AM Logic, but the Zinc control board, or the Xilinx, and then the CV control board as well. So just make sure you understand which control board you have and how to identify that. If you don't know how to identify that, what I would recommend doing is when you initially boot up this machine, you can go to the system settings to find out what it is, or you can open up the top of the control panel, and it's just one screw and a little button on the back, and look at your physical control board to identify it. So we just download this guy. And when we download this guy, we're going to want to extract it. Now, I already had it in my downloads, but I'm going to show you that right now as it's downloading. And we want to extract it to our USB stick. So let's plug in our USB stick now. And you can see that I already have the files on here, but walking you through it, go to our downloads, go to where this file is. We're going to want to extract it. On Windows 11, there's usually extract all. Windows 10, you might have to click the View tab and then go to the extract option. But we just want to extract all those files wherever you want it. You can keep it wherever you want it. And you can see we have a zipped folder and an unzipped folder. If you go into unzipped folder, these are the files exactly as you see right here. And quite simply, if you have your drive here, all you got to do is drag and drop it. Okay, drag and drop it, give it a minute to load, and then properly eject that drive. I can't express that enough. A lot of people just rip their USB drives out. Sometimes it can cause corruption. So you're on the secondary screen on my computer, but usually in the lower right hand corner, you will have an arrow, a little white arrow pointing up, next to your notification, stuff like that. Click that little white arrow and then eject the drive properly from your system. Or if you have your file explorer still open, you can always go to the drive, right click, and eject. Just eject the drive properly. Now let's go plug that into our ASIC miner and boot it up. But there are some steps that you just need to be aware of. In summary, all you need to do is plug it in, power it on, wait 30 seconds until it has a solid green light. So you're gonna see both blinking. Once it's solid green, you should be good to go to power down the device. Bitmain does offer different guides and even some videos. Zeus Mining has some great videos as well. It tells you, you know, obviously if you have the control board we have, right, that you won't be able to connect your micro SD card. You have to use a micro USB. It tells you about the different steps, how to do what we just did. But if we scroll on down, because some ASICs will have an SD card and some ASICs will have a micro USB, just adapt to whatever it is. Here is the cover that goes over that control board. So if you don't know what kind of control board you have, remove this middle screw, pop that button. It's going to lift up from the back up. Don't just yank it. Just pull the back up first and then pull it towards the back of the machine instead of towards the front, because it kind of like locks in. And then we can see the two LED lights, and it tells us the exact same process that we just started, but basically allow the ASIC to run for about 30 seconds to load the files automatically. You don't have to unplug the Ethernet or anything like that, like on the Wets miner. You just got to wait for it to go through its process, provide a solid green light, which we're going to show you here in just a moment, and then just shut down the device. Once you shut down the device, you can reboot. All right, so now we're back at the machine. We just need to plug in our micro USB into the port. It's best to do this with two hands instead of what I'm trying to do and trying to aim with the camera, but we just need to plug that in. There we go. And now we just need to plug in our power cables. Again, best to do this with two hands, but I'm just trying to do my best to show you. What I would say is if you ever do have a custom firmware on your machine, go ahead and you know, get that guy unplugged or reset back to factory. Definitely want to make sure those power cables are plugged in all the way, but if you ever do have a custom firmware on this thing, make sure you flash it back to factory before going over to whatever new custom firmware you're trying to install. Now we're letting this thing run its course. We got a solid green light already, but I'm going to give it 30 seconds as the manual says, and then we'll shut down and switch back over to our remote system to manage this device. All right, we're shut down, USB out. I need to plug in the power and then log in through the main utility or IP address of this machine. All right, and that thing is screaming behind me. You might not be able to hear it. There's a couple different ways we can locate this device. I like to use Angry IP Scanner, but sometimes it doesn't always like just give you the name outright. So we found it through the router here, and it's ending in 146. So we just need to type that IP in now. And now the default password is root and root. I would recommend changing that, but if you want to install custom firmware like LuxOS, maybe Bixbit, Vanish, Brains, just leave it stock. Just do not touch it, update it to whatever firmware you want, and then change the password. To change the password, we just come over here to System on the left-hand side, and then Password, and then you type in your current password and then your new password twice. Hit Save. Let that go. And if we need to update the firmware because there's a new update on the Bitmain website, we could go ahead and do that as well. But in this case, we're just going to leave it the way it is. And now we just need to go into settings and obviously configure our pools. Figure out what pool you want to use. Go to miningpoolstats.stream, select Bitcoin, and choose not the top pool, right? Because Foundry is a private pool. I believe you need to be a large farm or institutional investor to gain access to that. But, you know, AMP pool, F2 pool, via BTC, Luxor Tech, really good. Brains pool's fallen down, but I still like them pulling. All kinds of different pools, but obviously choose the one that's best for your country or region. If you mouse over the globes, they tell you what countries they're in, like China, EU, Asia, whatever it might be, Russia. And then obviously American flag is United States. We got some flags over here for various places like Europe, Russia, so on and so forth. Just choose the server that's best for you. You want to have low latency, low ping, but have a good connection, and then follow the instructions because each pool is a little bit different. For example, via BTC, Brains, and Luxor will want you to set up something where you have a user ID instead of a wallet address. So for your miner name, it would be like, you know, your account, right? So let's say that your account's, you know, test123, and then your worker name, right? You know, S19k Pro. That's what it would be like for those pools. Whereas, for example, NiceHash or whatever, it will be a Bitcoin address dot, you know, your worker name, whatever it might be. The pool URL will be provided on their startup guide pages, and then you just put in a password, hit save. You can change the fan to run at 100%, or just leave it alone and it will run automatically. There's high energy mode now on this thing that wasn't there out of the box. Obviously, I would use that only for immersion or really sufficient cooling. And then hit save, and you can always restore the factory settings down here in case something goes wrong. But the dashboard right now is blank because I don't have any pools set up. The system is back to stock, completely nothing there for you to really look at or peruse through, but it does give you the basic information about this particular miner. And then we got logs down here in the bottom left. But now you flashed your ASIC back to stock. What are you going to do with it? Don't know. That's up to you. But good luck to you. Thank you so much for watching. Check out Altered Tech if you're interested in purchasing an ASIC. I'll have my link down there in the description, as well as coinminingcentral.com with my code to go ahead and help you guys out and get those ASICs as we get ready for a future bull run. May not be upon us just yet, but is coming. Good luck to all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Take care.